Hey everybody, welcome to Olympic Minds, Leadership Beyond Limits. This is a podcast for people who want to be the leader of leaders, the visionary of visionaries. This is for leaders who are wanting to live beyond mediocrity, who want to really step into mastery, who want to leave a legacy. They understand there's a difference between success and significance, and they want to live in significance. This is something beyond theory. So what you're going to hear today, this is from people like Bill who've lived it. This is not just theory. This is grit tested, results proven, right? That we're talking about today. So I'm Sherry Winn, your host, two-time Olympian, national championship basketball coach, CEO of the Winning Leadership Company, and author of soon to be 2 more books, four total. I guess I could have I've been, co-author and a bunch of others. Anyway, so I want to introduce you today, Bill Glenn. So I want to tell you something about Bill. He's been, I think, for 4 different companies, either a CMO or a VP at 4 different companies. He's had a long history of success. But what I love about him is he says, look, I'm really curious. I love to live in curiosity. He talks about collaboration culture, right, is a big part of what he does, and creativity. So if you put all those C's together, right, culture, collaboration, creativity, curiosity, those are the things that really define Bill. I'm going to let Bill tell a little bit more about himself. So hey, Bill, welcome to today's podcast.
Hey, Sherry, great to see you again. So excited to be here. It's funny that when you and I last had that conversation, there were some things you just brought up again that I had completely forgotten. And I've got 2 more C's to add to the conversation today. So we'll bring that up later, but I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about how curiosity plays a part in great leadership.
Yeah, I think I actually want to riff a little bit on your intro of me, because you talked about sort of the proven, been there, done that, winning strategies. To me, I think this never ends. And I think that's the key here around curiosity is everyone talks about growth mindset, but at the end of the day, it's I try to view myself as, when I say lifelong learner, that basically means I'm never at the point that I have mastered something. And if I ever feel like I've mastered something, then there's a problem, because I know that I haven't. And so to me, curiosity really stems from that drive from within to be well, how do you better yourself every day? But also, how do you admit to yourself every day that you're not perfect, that you don't have all the answers, that you continue to need to look to others and look and educate yourself on what else is happening, what's the view that I have today, how can you open the aperture even a little bit further, and what does opening that aperture just 1 or 2 degrees more do for you in terms of that growth mindset, or recognizing that there's always something more you can learn.
Right. I love the idea of understanding that we'll never get it all done, right? And then at the same moment, having this ability to be joyfully incomplete. So you're in this place that that what you've got is really good, and there's more. So it's not I'm not enough. It's that place of understanding that you are enough right now, and you can expand to be more. So tell people a little bit more about, you said, growth mindset, learning, curiosity. Yeah. What do you do? If you were to say, here's the way I grow, here's the things I do on a regular basis. Do you read books? Do you listen to podcasts? Yeah. Let people know a little bit more what that looks like, so you have that never-ending stream of growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of this maybe stems from the pandemic era of certainly the time of being more closed in and, I guess introverted from the standpoint of how am I going to get my source of information? That changed a lot for me, because I get most of my positive energy by interfacing with others. And not to say that virtually you can't do that, but for me, it was about in real life and having that across the table conversation, whether it's, I'm based here in Seattle, so it's coffee meetups were just a regular thing for us. And, during that time of COVID, I had to kind of go back to the basics of saying, let's get into book reading again. And I've always enjoyed podcasts, but I was commenting to a friend yesterday, another CMO, about how do we keep up with the pace of podcasts? There's just so many out there. And and there's so many episodes that, what's that compilation of the best of? And I think there's a real business opportunity out there, frankly, for somebody to be like, hey, once I know your mindset, like what's your Amazon purchase history? Right. But in the world of podcasts, how do I sort of collect the best of and give it back to you? But in lieu of having that, that's where I just try to every day look for more opportunities to engage in either a new podcast, or frankly just go back and pick, like, I'll call it like 2 or 3 of my favorites and say I want to actually more deeply follow that, because the people that are running those podcasts, they're bringing, just like you're doing, like with your podcast moments, like this is going to be fun to watch the types of people you've been interfacing with, and those that are bringing a different winning by design sort of mindset, but everybody has a different approach to it. Every day I'm trying to learn from those type of people. So it's podcasts like yours, it's podcasts that bring on people that are willing to put themselves out there a little bit to say, I don't know all the answers, but here's some things that I did that were, that I did and was successful, and here's some other things that I did that failed. The other thing I would say, and I might be, I don't know, this is a Gen X thing for me, but I'm just sitting here, and this was not planned at all, but I'm at my table here, and I work 3 days a week in the office, and I work 2 days a week at home. But at home, I literally just have here's 4 books that are just sort of sitting by my desk of all different types. And I kind of just if I get a 5-minute break, I'm just tactile person, and I pick up a book and I'm I'll read 3 pages just to randomly open a chapter and be oh, that's interesting. I just learned something in 5 minutes. So it's micro learning moments, because I feel the environment in which we're in today doesn't often allow you to be I'm going to sit down for 3 hours and try to read a book from cover to cover. So it's, trying to get that micro learning going on. And for me, it's tactile, the more I can get a book, but I'm also a huge subscriber to Audible, and I listen to both fiction, nonfiction, and podcasts from both Spotify and Audible.
Wow. I love it. I mean, is this never ending kind of learning opportunity. And I think that people who are in that mindset, you mentioned, one of the things you mentioned was positivity. You like to be a positive human being.
That's right.
I like to have that optimism. And I think it's easier to be positive when you are in the growth mindset, right? You're starting to learn things that other people don't learn. So instead of getting stuck in the muck, you're oh, I can change my mindset. It doesn't have to be a chore. It can be a choice. All these little things that you learn as you read books and as you engage with other things. The people I think that are the most unhappy are the people who don't have the growth mindset.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know we could flip this into a mental health awareness type of conversation, but I do think it may be out there in a bigger way right now. But the comment of get to versus have to, right? That phrase, and I've really tried to subscribe to that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really kept that positivity top of mind. Is you can look at your schedule on Sunday night and you could get the Sunday scaries, or you could say, what do I get to do this week that so many other people are not having that chance to do? And I'm just going to speak really transparently. That mindset shift changed for me when I was out of work for about 9 months, right? And I was trying to figure out can I be another head of marketing operator, or should I take matters into my own hands and actually try to start up a fractional CMO business? Mm-hmm. And each morning that I was waking up trying to find that full-time role, it started to flip into I have to go try to look for a job today. And I was you know what? This is an opportunity to reset what I want to do. And it actually drove me to say, I'm going to open up my fractional business. I'm going to try to find new clients. And it was fun to be I get to do business development today, as opposed to I have to go find a job to feed my family, right? Support. Right. And once I flipped that mindset, I'm not going to say overnight, but I felt there was more of that karma in that universe coming to me, because I was putting myself out there, no longer saying, what can you do for me, or how do you employ me, but what could I do for you, and how could I be helpful as a fractional CMO, taking the experience that I have. And interestingly, that fractional CMO work that I did for about a year, one of those fractional companies that I worked with now is hired me full time. And I don't think that would have happened if I came in with this mindset of negativity. Right. It was more about positivity and let me help you and give you my learnings. And I think they really enjoyed hearing that in a way that they're like, this person not only has a vision for where, they could help take that company, but they also, are demonstrating that positivity that we want to have in a leader that we would, that could help us, achieve those goals too.
Well, I mean, Bill, this. It's like, I feel like people don't understand the mindset is such a powerful, like that. It's your mind leads to every action that you take.
That's right.
And so if we're not listening to our minds, then it takes us down these really weird places. And I'll give you an example. So I live on 20 acres of land in Montana. And I have a couple of little roads that kind of go up the hill, but then they stop because it's on a neighbor's property. Right? I can't cross over a neighbor's property. So I have to turn the four-wheeler around. And so on one side, it drops off. Like it drops down probably 30 feet. On the other side is a really steep, hill. And so I have to stop and be careful because I could flip the four-wheeler. I could fall.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm just driving by a four-wheeler. I have nothing else going in my head. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, if you fell off of that, you'd get paralyzed. You'd never be able to. What? Like, wait a second. Like, where'd that come from? I'm like, what in the world? Why would I do that to myself? Right? But here's what happens if you don't catch it. You go down this whole story, right? You can see the ambulance coming. You can see like everybody going, oh, I'm so sad and sorry. You're in the hospital. You're like, but the moment I heard myself do that, I go, oh, we're not going to play that game. Like, no, I'm happy, I'm healthy. Look at the sky. The sky's gorgeous. Like, I just immediately flipped it. And here's the thing that you just mentioned for people out there. You come up against something and you get the opportunity at that moment. How are you going to view it? Well, how you view it changes everything because it changes the actions that you take. That moment changes everything. And so if we're not listening to the stories we tell ourselves, we can get really trapped into negative stories. And then because we're trapped in a negative story, our motivation it just disappears. And then we say, well, I'm not passionate about something. Of course you're not.
Yeah. Or, you hear that imposter syndrome phrase kick in and it's like, no, like, why is your brain talking you out of something that, yes, can be scary, but in that moment, you have to recognize that's your growth mindset moment. And it's like, recognize that discomfort as an opportunity to take it on as a yes moment. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. And yes, you don't have all the answers, but yes to the opportunity because that's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's the, be curious that we come back to. Right. And I couldn't agree more with you on your mind can just take you in places that you're like, where did that come from? One of the things I just started doing probably a year ago, I guess. I can't remember if we talked about this last time we met, but I set up an app and it's Headspace. I'll just say it right out there. Right. And I'm not like a huge user of Headspace, but I set an intentional 5-minute meditation time at noon every day. And that it's not only is it like remind me at noon, but because I have that reminder, when I find my mind wandering anytime throughout the day, it comes back to, oh, this is a perfect time to do a 5-minute meditation and ground yourself. And so I don't actually have a consistent meditation practice of every morning I wake up and do it. I think that that's probably the right thing to do, but I'm like, I haven't found that like discipline yet to be like every single day I'm going to do that. So I'm like, let's use these micro moments at whatever time in the day. Right. But for 5 minutes, let's actually bring myself back to reality and go, what am I grateful for? That gratitude practice, but more so like why, kind of examine after I, ground myself, like, right. Why did I go there? And what was that negative belief that I need to get rid of? Because it's not true. And you're the only one has the power to like tell yourself what you told yourself is actually not true. And here's the positive things about yourself that you need to remember to take you to that next step of growth.
Absolutely. I love the idea of that little 5-minute meditation, like that time in the day that gives you the break in the day that you can stop, reground, reconnect. And you talked about meditation, and so it's really funny. When I started, like I had read so many books that said, meditation's great. You should use meditation, blah 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 blah. So of course I go to sit down to meditate, and it's like this. Okay, breathe in, focus on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, today I've got to do these 5 things. Oh yeah, breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Can you believe what that person said to me yesterday? Okay, wait, breathe. And so you think you fail. Immediately you're like, well, this doesn't work for me because my mind doesn't stay still. Well, I think that people have to understand, like, this is the training that you use to help you understand what your mind does. And so important about meditation is that you have the power to bring it back.
Yes.
So you don't have to follow the story. You don't have to follow the anxiety or whatever. That when you start to meditate, you just, I can let that go. I'm going to go back to the breath.
That's right.
And, I think there are days that when I meditate, I'm really good. Like, I'm like, oh man, that was so great. And there's days that I meditate and I go, oh my gosh, I spent the whole time thinking about, I got to pack this and I got to go here and I got to this and that. So I don't think we can, don't label it as a failure.
Yeah.
And, whatever that means for you, like you said, the micro learning moments you have, the micro meditation, that works for you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you got to find the thing that works for you. I don't think there's a one thing fits all people, but the thing that enters you into that space of either reconnecting with your true self. When I say true self, I mean like the self that believes in you, the self that knows that you're worthy, the self that sees your brilliance, that kind of thing. I think all those are really important to do.
I couldn't agree more. There's two paths I can go down here. One is having gone through a lot of my own therapy work, one of the therapists, called me out and said, where is that 11-year-old Bill? And, who were you back then? And, you're a different person now, but you're also not a different person. Like, you've learned along the way, but your core ethos is still the same. And a lot of times I think people forget to kind of look back and think about what were those inflection point moments throughout your life that actually have shaped you, because those are still showing up in really interesting ways as an adult, but it stems back to your childhood of what are two or three just things that you they're in there, and if you don't remember them, spend a little time as your post meditation when you've cleared the mind of being how did I get there, right? That's my kind of the reflection moment of is this a recency thing, or is this nope, actually this has been who I have been since the time that I can remember.
Right.
And are you willing to go back there and open up some interesting times and interesting memories to be have I actually fixed myself since the childhood, or am I carrying some things that as an adult now, in my 50s, saying there's some things I absolutely need to clean up that I should have cleaned up years ago. And I think where I'm really noticing that, frankly, is, and I'll use this perfect example. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to sit down. I thought it was going to be a free 30 minutes. And I started watching the women's US Open tennis semifinals. Mm-hmm. And I normally am just kind of have that on the background. Tennis is I love tennis, but it's not my passion sport. Right. But I actually sat down and paid attention in a way that I never had before in that literally sort of first 10 minutes. And I watched the close-ups of the competitors, and this was the Sabalenka match, right? And Pergola, I always mess up her name. I'm sorry. She's our U.S.
Don't ask me to pronounce it.
Yeah, but the two of them watching the close-ups of between points, mm-hmm. and what they were saying to themselves versus mm-hmm. what they were kind of mouthing with their coaches, and then they would interview the coaches, and they'd be what did you tell your athlete? What was, you only have maybe 30 seconds of time to, right. And so much of this was coming back to, you already have the answers. So it's the mental, it's in there. Yes. So just now let the physical sort of, it's rote memory at this point. Right. So just tap back into the, it's all there. So just play your game. And maybe that's the takeaway, for your audience is play your game with confidence, because nobody has all the answers. So in that way, you have enough to go on with what you have today. And yes, you're probably, some people are going to fail. There was a winner and a loser of yesterday's match. But at the end of the day, everybody learned something from that, no matter whether you won or lost. And you could see the mental growth from both competitors during the match, and then even after the match, just having the conversation of right. acknowledging what the other competitor brought out mm-hmm. in them during the match. And you could see that as you really paid attention to their mental game during that physical match.
Well, I love it that you bring up the mental game, right? Because this is the part that I think that separates the top 3% from everybody else. It's not their talent. Everybody has talent. Look, I mean, if somebody hires you, they see your talent, right? They're we know you're talented. Now, where they go with that talent, that's mental. That's all the next level of stuff. It's the mental game. And so you brought up the imposter syndrome, and I kind of laugh at that because, first of all, we all have it, right? Everybody has it when you're doing something new, when you're in that but it's not a sickness, it's not an illness. Like some people go, oh my God, like I have the imposter syndrome, I just can't positively, like I've got it's really, they think that they, got this disease and now they have it, they can't get rid of it. It's just that moment. It's that moment of, oh my gosh, this is hard. Oh my gosh, I've never done this before. I don't know if I can complete, who doesn't do that when you're starting something? That's the start of something. Everybody has that question mark in their head. You don't have an illness, it's not a disease. It's the mental ability for you to talk yourself through that thing that's in front of you, because now you have the equal choice. Like nothing's happened. You have equal choice. Am I going to do what I call what if up thinking, or am I going to do what if down thinking? Like it's equal choice. Equal choice says, what if down thinking is, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do this. If I can't do this, I'll fail. If I fail, I'll never have another job again. Oh my gosh, then I'll be on the streets. I'll be homeless. That's what if down thinking. What if up thinking is, I've never done this before, but I've done a lot of things before that I've never done. And all of those, I found a way through them. I was really successful in almost every endeavor I tried because I kept doing it long enough until I learned it, until I got it. And then and even if I didn't get it, I learned incredible things from it. This is just a great opportunity. Nothing's happened yet. And so this is the moment. Like, do you want to go what if up thinking, or do you going to go what if down thinking? And that's a choice. Yes. For people to make. It's not a disease. You don't have a disease. You don't have the imposter disease. It's simply the mind training. Right?
Yeah, I love this. I never heard the up think down thinking, and I love that. And now applying that language, that phrase, up thinking. What I do in those moments, and this has changed for me over the course of my career, and I think unlocked a lot of my growth. I take it back to the days when I was trying improv, and the key for improv. I'm a Chicago native, so kind of have the whole Second City. Got to do that training in with the Second City outfit. Just want to be clear, was not in Second City, but they actually had courses for just, the everyday people that are like, hey, if you want another growth mindset, try improv, because that'll really, kind of give you that on the stage scary moment of you don't know what's coming next. Mm-hmm. And the big phrase in the training was the yes and. And in the moment of, oh my gosh, that's imposter syndrome kicking in, I just say yes and. And it's easy to just say yes, you could do that. But then your brain could also quickly talk you out of. So I use the yes and because what that taught me in improv was you have a contribution to make to whatever that next thing is. And so don't just say yes, and even if you don't know what the and is yet, say and just so you go, what is going to be my role in not just saying yes, but then adding to whatever it is I just said yes to. And I might not have the answer to the and right away, but it just in my head, I'm like, I've checked the box to get rid of imposter syndrome by just saying yes. So you get those moments that come to you, just say yes. But for me, it's a yes and, because I used to talk myself out of the yes and go right back to the no and imposter syndrome. But if I can add that extra layer of what am I going to do next to contribute, even if I can't figure it out right away, it just keeps that mental negativity or what is it? Down thinking away.
Yeah, what if up thinking or what if down thinking, right?
Yeah, keeps the down thinking away.
I think that this is so important for people to understand is the mental part of the game. And so we say game, we're talking about your companies, your corporation, your abilities, your ability to move forward as a leader. That's the game we're talking about. And that understanding, at the moment that you're about to do something, nothing's occurred.
Yes.
Right? That's the moment. And so what we do at that moment is really important, because there's how we think about the moment is going to be what becomes of the moment, how we're going to go forward, right? And I noticed this as a college basketball coach. I noticed my athletes, and I could tell you game time, pressure time, player going to the free throw line, I'm like, she's going to miss it. Yeah. I could just see it. I could see it in her walk. I could see it in her facial expressions. I'm like, she's thinking about the miss. She's not thinking about the make. Yeah. And we can't get what we want thinking about what we don't want. And so many people try that again and again and again. this is what they want, but they're always thinking about what they don't want, and they want to get to what they want from what they don't want. I'm like, you can't get there from here.
Yeah.
You've got to change your mindset. So you mentioned therapy, Bill, and I love that you mentioned therapy, because a lot of people still are like, oh, therapy. But therapy is great for all of us. I mean, this is the place where we uncover ourselves, right? We uncover those hidden things that are obstacles in our own pathway. So tell me, what was the decision behind going to therapy, and what was your greatest, result from going through therapy?
Yeah, I think the early career, it actually ties back to imposter syndrome. But early in my career, I felt like I had to have all the answers, and if I didn't, then I would say no to things. Mm-hmm. And I think that mental health it's always been important to me. I don't know, for whatever reason, I've just gravitated towards, I overthink everything. And maybe that's where sort of therapy came in, was how do I get out of my own head, and how do I get some of these thoughts down in a way that somebody else can help me process, like, why do I overthink all this? And what it came down to was, and I've not solved this entirely, like this still creeps back in, is I've always cared too much about what other people think of me. Mm. And that perfectionism, that like, okay, you can't jump into the game until it's perfect, or you're not going to say yes unless you have all the answers. That really limited me in my career, because I didn't realize that when I would come time for performance reviews, and what I thought was being a thoughtful person to say, well, I wanted to have all the answers before I said yes, so that I didn't choose to say yes and then fail or not live up to my commitments. That gave like the perception then for people who were managing me or others at the executive table were like, well, he seems to be more negative than positive, or I don't know if we can trust him to do it because he doesn't seem like he's all in. Right. And I didn't realize I was giving off that vibe. And so I think that it took outside help to be like, what, in those moments, you go deep inside yourself and deep in your own head, and you don't even realize the physical expression that you're giving just has this like negative connotation. And so I think what I've learned from therapy is, one, it's okay to not have all the answers. Two, stop trying to live for other people, live for yourself. And three, I think that it's going back to the growth mindset. I think that there's always things that you're going to learn about yourself that you have to do this, because otherwise I'm living for other people. And if I'm not really happy with myself first, and if I don't truly know myself, then I don't think I can give myself to anybody else in an authentic way. And frankly, I think I've lived most of my life not giving myself to people in an authentic way, but putting on this imposter, or putting on this facade that I've got all the answers, that I'm a smart guy, like I'm everything to everyone. And at the end of the day, I got exhausted, and I couldn't do it anymore. So that's where burnout would kick in. That's where imposter syndrome was kicking in. But it comes down to like, I tried to just push myself through it physically, and realize that if I don't change the mental game, everything else is going to fall apart. I wasn't working out anymore. I wasn't like taking care of myself. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping right. But it started with like, just get happy with yourself and be okay with yourself, even if that means that other people aren't going to like you anymore. Right.
Well, this is the big bulk about, that executive coaches like me deal with. I mean, it's people are thinking, and we're trying to help people scale companies, and some people do, like, absolutely. But the big bulk of what I do is exactly what you're talking about right there. Like, I'm not a therapist, I don't have a degree, so let's not talk about therapy. But it's the same, it's the mindset issue. So when I talk about the Olympic level mindset, that's what it's about. It's about all these things that we do to ourselves. We're great at self-sabotage. We're absolutely marvelous at self-sabotage. We're the ones that get into our own way. So how can we learn to get out of our own way? Like, we have the power because we put ourselves there. That means we had the power to put ourselves there, which means we have the power to get ourselves out of there, right? And so it's that marvelous understanding of what we're doing to ourselves that we can work on, so that we have more opportunity in front of us. You talked about the perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Just say that
every day.
Every day. And one of my favorite things to learn is the question I ask myself is, am I the only person in the world who knows this is perfect? Because if I'm the only one who knows that, I've spent way too much time on that thing that nobody else is even going to notice. I'm the only person that gets it. So, when is good enough? And when I learned that, so first it's like, I need to just answer to me. Like, I need to know what my good is. It doesn't, I'm reaching now for excellence. I'm not reaching perfection. I still want to be excellent. Like, I can't halfway do anything. That's just not in my nature. But I can also leave it alone. Like, there's a point in writing books, and I've written several books, and I have 2 coming out soon. There's a point where you just have to go, like, I've worked on it a long time. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna have to let it go. There might be a word that's, I'll later read one of my old books and I'm like, oh my gosh, that sentence doesn't make sense. How can I let that sentence go? But it's like, okay, that's a perfectionist in me, and I know that the book still caused a lot of people to think. It caused some change in the way that they move forward. And so let's look at the good and the positive, out of that. So I applaud you for working on yourself. And how does that impact it? Like you said, look, you're kind of saying I can't give what I don't have. That's kind of what
that's exactly right.
I can't give it. So how's that impacted how you lead your teams now?
Yeah, and let me just add one other thing before I answer that question, because you spoke to it, which is the positivity and the therapy doesn't have to be formal therapy. It can be who you surround yourself with, and who are your friends, who are your family, who are the ones that are going to prop you up every day. So if somebody's like, well, I don't think sort of formal therapy is for me, so be it. But you can get the positive impact of therapeutic conversations by being, bringing your authentic self to your friends, to your family, to have the conversations to say, I don't have all the answers, and I need to be surrounded by people that, one, will call me on my bullshit, and then 2, will be, strong enough to also say, ooh, this is a moment of support. He needs me. He may not even be right in what he's thinking, but, I've got his back, and, those people have been there for me. And I'm very fortunate to have just a few of those people that I know I can turn to and say, man, I'm really struggling with this right now. I'm not going to go to a formal therapist and have this conversation, but some of my friends have been like there for me in the moments that matter.
But I love that you said you got to have people that will call you on your bullshit. Right. I mean, and what that means to me is that you have the inner self at a place that if somebody says you did this, you're like, yep. Like you don't have to like make all these excuses or all these reasons, or you have to fight them to be right. You just can reflect on and go, yep, like I did that, and something I need to work on. Like, that's such a better place to come from than having to be defensive. Yeah. And, having to prove that you're right or that you're okay and all that stuff that we do. You can just go, oh, I got a truth teller around me. Yep, you're right. And let me look at it, let me work on it so that I can get better.
That's right. And then leading back, that actually ties nicely into your question, was like, how do I apply that in leading teams? Mm-hmm. Like, perfect example of that was, there's something that's been on my plate to do for a couple of weeks, and I feel like I'm a manager that is less about micromanaging, more about accountability and, being there to support the team with what they need. But in the moments, I think the moments that matter are when I can go back to my team and say, I had assigned myself this project, and here it is 2 weeks later, and I've not touched it once. And I'm here to tell you all, like, I totally dropped the ball on this, and I messed up, but here's what I think I'm going to be able to do to try to get it done. Right. And just that openness with my next level down marketing leadership team, I think really like opened up this like conversation for the next 30 minutes of like, here's what I haven't gotten to as well, or here's where I need some help that I was, like they were sort of holding on to that too. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I said like, own your failures and be transparent about it and allow others to see that there's a safe place to do that. So that the leadership for me comes in explaining just as much about the failure moments or the I didn't get to it or hold myself accountable moments as it is about like just talking about all the achievements and the successes, because we all know, especially in the marketing world, like we're testing and trying, and if you're not failing, then you're not actually like pushing yourself the way that a marketing team or marketing leader should.
Right. Well, I think that's beautiful. You talked about like you can admit your failures. It doesn't mean you are a failure.
That's
like
oh
the
my
fact
gosh,
that you're
well said.
Admitting to failure makes you more courageous. It makes you stronger. It makes you that better leader. That people don't have to create this falsehood about themselves. right? So they're seeing you saying, look, I made a mistake here. And so now they can also do the same. Like you're giving them permission to say, this is where I am with the mistake, and this is what I did, and this is how I can improve on it. I think we try to hold ourselves to such a high standard that we forget that we're humans. And human beings, the pathway of being a human is we're going to make mistakes. We're going to get betrayed. We're going to get abandoned. We're going to have diseases. I mean, this is the process. Like, and to not admit that we're living as a human, like that's just ridiculous. We got to just admit that. And even as leaders, even as that you have attained a high level of wisdom, you've got a lot of this knowledge behind you. You're still gonna fail. Like you're still gonna meet those moments.
That's right.
Like, why did I say that? Oh my gosh, what a terrible thing to have said. They're still gonna have those moments. And the biggest part of that going forward is you're able to admit it, you're able to apologize for it, and you're able to learn from it. Now we've just switched the journey to something different. Yeah,
and I'll just build on that. And I think now's my inflection point moment of bringing in my 2 new C's. I don't think I picked this up from anybody else, so I'm going to hopefully coin this phrase of compassionately competitive.
Ooh.
Because to me, this is what I've learned over the course of my career was like, I'm surrounding myself with type A's. I feel like I'm a type A, but somewhere along the journey for me, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a type A anymore. I want to be a type A minus. And to me, compassionately competitive is exactly what an A minus is, which is I still hold myself accountable and I still want to win. I still have that inner drive to want to win and be at the top, but I don't want to do it at the expense of others. And so I want to bring other people along with me. Even those who I'm competing against, I want them to feel like they took something away, or how did we all contribute to, that competitive moment? And what did we all learn? Because, people talk about the tides raising all boats. But I still think there's that competitive hierarchy and that competitive fire. But I want to look back and go, well, if I won, what did I also give back during that process? And if I lost, so be it, what did I learn? But I don't want to win at all costs. I want to win knowing that others learned in this journey with me, and we all are better people for it. And I didn't win at someone else's expense.
I love that you get to that place, and I think there's only one way to get to where you're talking about, right? You're talking about that you can still be competitive, and if somebody else wins, you're appreciative of them, you're complimentary of them. Doesn't mean that you see yourself as less than, right? You're on a journey, and I think that's for most people that's unattainable, not because it's unattainable, but because they don't think that they can attain that level, which is, look, I have an ego, but my ego's not in charge anymore.
Yes.
Right? And so when you coin that phrase, it's really about, I still want to do my best. And I want to bring out the best in the others while I'm doing my best. So it's not like you're my enemy anymore.
Right.
And I was an athlete. Let me tell you, I was uber competitive from the moment I was born. That just came out I'm gonna have more milk than any other baby in the world. I'm gonna crawl first. I'm gonna do whatever. And it was a very combative energy. It was combative. And I look back at my early years, my teammates didn't like me because I was so combative, right? Yes. And it wasn't the kind of energy that helped the team get to its highest level. It was not that energy. And so you can still have the energy of being aggressive without being the kind of person who says, I have to win, you have to lose.
That's right. Yeah, every day it's a flip. For me, it's truly been the unlock moment for just the sort of the mental energy, looking for the positivity moments of how did I help somebody else get further along in their career in this journey? What did I give back to, such that the definition of the win is no longer just what's the outcome of the thing you are going towards.
Right.
The one goal, it's no longer a one goal game. It's yes, there's a win or lose outcome, but what were the other wins that I brought with me along the way? And that's the compassion, that it's this is the moment of change for me when I said, it's not about me anymore. It's about the give back, that I actually feel like I was winning more because of that, right? Even truly on the one goal, I would win more because I brought others into the game and, tried to make it a team sport, not this is all on Bill.
Right. And I think that's when the moment that I'm going to say it a little bit differently. than you said it. I think it's the same vein, is that it's the moment that I understood that at the same moment that I give, I receive. It's not separate. Like a lot of people think giving and receiving are separate, but there's a great amount of receiving when the gift is given, right? I mean, and I'm not doing the gift to receive, but you can't separate the two. It's not separable. And so you can't separate, even if I'm receiving, how I receive helps the person that's giving the gift, right? So if somebody gives me something, I take a moment to really go, oh my gosh, like, this is so cool. I can't believe you thought of this for me. This is amazing. Like, I take that moment because as I'm receiving, I'm giving. And when you get into that mode of understanding that, like, we're happier, the people around us are happier. We don't feel empty. We don't feel like somebody needs to give me more or I need to give more. It's like, it's just this constant cycle of giving and receiving that fills us up. So Bill, this has been.
Can I add one thing to that, because that that really moved me. Just the act of giving and being genuine about it. That's the piece that, because of the pace at which we run today, I think leaders forget to do that because they just don't take enough time to say, no, I really want to recognize you, right? And in COVID times, it was, people would say, you have to do a meaningful check-in of how are you? And it's like, no, how are you? I really want to know, I genuinely care. Right. And I think we can apply that same principle to the Winn, which is, I genuinely want to recognize you for the effort that you put in and be specific about what did you do that was so amazing and so unique? And then pause and wait and let that sink in and let the other person absorb the give. Because if you don't absorb the give, then it was like, it's not a false transaction. It's just like it missed its mark of what it could have been. And if you really infuse that, focused energy and positivity into the other person, it's amazing, the mileage that gets you, but more so the bonding that it creates of like, oh, that person genuinely cares about me. They're not just giving me that false accolade because that was the right time to do it. Right.
I love it. So Bill, if there's anything, like if you want to leave the guest with something that we haven't covered today, do you have a parting remark or something that you want to share with them that you learned along the way that made a huge difference for you?
Yeah, just off the top of my head, it's okay to not know the answer to something. That's all I'm going to say is, like, I use that every single day. It's a great reminder to be like, this gets into that whole perfectionism issue that I have of like, stop and say, if you don't know the answer, you don't know the answer. You may need to go figure it out. Somebody's asking you and they need that answer, but it's okay to say, I don't know. And that unlocked for me so much growth in my career, was that authenticity to be like, I just don't know, but that's okay that I don't know, because thank you for just, exposing a blind spot for me that I didn't have, that I didn't even recognize. So my parting gift is, be authentic and, know yourself and know what you are, what you're not, and be okay saying, I don't know all the answers. I don't have all the answers.
Cool. So Bill, if somebody has a question for you, like they're like, oh my gosh, like he was great, he's phenomenal. If they had a question for you, would they find you on LinkedIn? I mean, what's the best way to just message?
Yeah, the LinkedIn is definitely the best. My handle is William W. Glenn, Glenn. I'm super active on LinkedIn. I really enjoy promoting other people's wins on LinkedIn. And I think it's been a great platform, a business platform, I think, for others to learn from. And frankly, I've taken a lot of that positive mental energy away from seeing how other people are being authentic on that channel now, not just, posting only about their wins.
Right. This has been phenomenal. I mean, I love this conversation. I love the authenticity you came with. I love that you're vulnerable and you're speaking, so that shows your true inner power when you can do that. So folks, if you listened and you love this, please just subscribe, come back, share, do all those things so you can, our goal here is to really support people who want to grow. So do that for us and have a winning day. Bye now.